Dr. Mona, and this week's video is something you've been requesting for a really long time. I'm going to show you exactly what I eat in a day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and that one thing I have to have every night before I go to bed to curb my sugar cravings. So in this video, I'm really going to show you the truth. It's going to be real, raw, like no cutting corners. I purposely set all this up for the sake of this video so it could be a little more organized and I can show you exactly what I do in the morning. Obviously, I don't wake up and everything's not just laid out perfectly for me. The first thing I do is have warm water with lemon, a little bit of cayenne and apple cider vinegar. So I'm obsessed with this water kettle. This was maybe 20 bucks. I actually asked my dad to get it for me for Christmas. It's just so useful. It's so much easier than boiling it. It's much healthier and better than the microwave. All you have to do, just fill it up with water, click it on, and in maybe like 60 seconds or something, you've got warm water with lemon. I know that you probably read everywhere that warm water with lemon is the first thing you should have when you wake up. And it might sound a little cliche, but it's actually one of those things that is true. Like, it's that good for you. It's that good for your digestion. And you know, right now we're all in this era of like healthy gut because it's something that we've realized is really important. To be totally honest, I love lemons. I could eat them like oranges. I love cold lemon water, but I don't really like warm lemon water. I'm not really a fan. But what I figured out to do is to add a little apple cider vinegar, a little cayenne pepper, and sometimes just like a dash of a little sweetener, usually no sweetener, but those two together just kind of make it a little spicy, gives it a little kick. And my trick is to make it before I even think about whether or not I want it. I drink it and I just get it over with. So while that's heating up, I always like to start with the lemon in the mug. This is a really massive lemon. You don't have to use all of that. You can use a smaller size lemon. I guess you can't see that in frame. This is a little more of a normal size lemon, but just squeeze a little bit into the cup. I like to put the lemon in first. It just kind of mixes better that way. So you've got your lemon juice. Then I add the water. Also, I'm not a fan of the way apple cider vinegar tastes. I know a lot of you reach out to me on Instagram and even on YouTube and ask the health benefits. It is really, really good for you. If you don't like the taste of it, you have to have this concoction. I promise it makes it so much better. I used to try eating it on its own. Can't do it. So this is a really easy way to do it. I like to put in 1 tablespoon. You do not have to be extremely rigid with this. You know, however much you're having is great, and it's better than not having it at all. But if you want to know exactly how I have it, it's 1 tablespoon. And then I'll do like 2 or 3 sprinkles of cayenne pepper. I'll put links to all of these products at the bottom of this video. If you are doing this, start out with a little cayenne pepper at first because it can get really spicy. So I'm just gonna have those 3. It's really good, actually. If you want a little bit of sweetener, I'd recommend trying some coconut nectar, probably the healthiest liquid sweetener, like a ½ teaspoon can also go a really long way, but try to do it on its own because it is the morning and we should be as clean and detox as possible. So I will usually sip this while I make my smoothie. So that's kind of my step 1. My step 2 is to make my smoothie. If you follow me on Insta, you see me post this all the time. I also do my what I eat in a day every week on Instagram. You can measure this, or if you have a Vitamix, that's my favorite blender, you can actually just see on here where the cups are. So when I'm really in a hurry, I'll just do this. And it's 3 cups of greens, ends up being 1 serving. I'll usually make 2 servings at a time and either drink both of them in the day or I'll save 1 for the next day. So my 2 favorite greens to use are spinach and kale. You can use romaine, you can use arugula, you can use anything you want. So the key is 3 cups of greens or 6 cups. I like to do 2 parts spinach, 1 part kale. So for this video, I'm gonna actually make 2 servings of this smoothie so it's just easier in what I really do every morning. So I'm gonna do half and half actually. I'm gonna do about 3 cups of spinach. Maybe a little more. A little more. That's about it. I don't know if you can see, that is the 6 cup line. So the key to this smoothie is to blend the water and the greens first because you'll be surprised at how yummy this tastes. There's so many of you that have reached out and have actually tried making this and are so impressed with how good it tastes because for all of these greens, I mean, this is a struggle for a lot of people to eat in the day. So you can drink this really quickly and it's really enjoyable. The key is to blend it with the water first, and that will make sure that it's really, really blended in. You're not getting like chunks of spinach or kale. So now we want 2 cups of water. So 6 cups of greens and 2 cups of water. I like to mix coconut water and filtered water. Sometimes I also use aloe vera water, but in this smoothie, I would stick to these 2 because it gives it like a lighter, fresher taste. Let's just use a cup. So I'm gonna do 1 cup of regular water and 1 cup of coconut water. So the coconut water is like nature's Gatorade. It's giving you a lot of electrolytes. It's really hydrating you, so it's extra hydrating than just having regular water. And it gives it a really nice flavor too. Someone reached out to me and asked the difference between coconut water and coconut milk. They are very different. Coconut water has no fat, it's water. Coconut milk's like a thicker, creamier texture, so they are very different. Okay, now I'm gonna blend this. So on your blender, start on low and then you can increase the speed. Okay. I actually did a whole video just on this smoothie, so I can link that also, but you can see how pretty these greens look. Then we're gonna do a half a banana. So 1 serving of this would actually be a 1/4 a banana, and 2 servings is a half a banana. So now I'm just slicing this apple. I like to put it in like maybe 5 or 6 big chunks, so it's just easier to blend. So this combination of fruit is really amazing for the morning, and the reason I make sure to have this every morning is because when you're sleeping, your body is in a natural state of detox. So I know people talk about detoxes a lot and doing a detox for your body, but your body actually detoxes itself naturally, and when you sleep, it's pretty much the longest period of fasting most people have because you're sleeping, so you're not eating. So your body's like this big machine that gets a moment to like rest and reboot. So think of a machine always processing different foods and chemicals, but when you're sleeping, it's just on its own. It's cleaning out, it's resetting and rebooting. And that's why the first thing you put into your body is so important, because it's the fastest absorbed. It's like you've got this fresh slate. What are you gonna do? It's almost like if a baby's born, is the first thing you feed it gonna be junk food? No, you wanna like, let's start with this like pure thing and give it as many healthy ingredients as possible. That's another reason why we start with this lemon, apple cider vinegar, cayenne in the morning. Apple cider vinegar has antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal benefits. So that's like threefold different ways to combat whatever's going on in your body, really help your gut health. Lemon is extremely alkaline, and you know we're always trying to get our blood to an alkaline state. Now, having cold water with lemon isn't as like soft on your body. You want to kind of give it something that's a little more gentle. When it's cold, it's a little bit more of a shock to the body. So that's why having the warm water is also really important. The cayenne in there is really good if you want to help boost your metabolism, kind of give it a little kick if you're trying to burn some fat. All around, it's good to just kind of heat things up in the morning. So that's why that combo is so important. And because that's just water and lemon, it's less substance your body has to break down. So we kind of want to go from little to most. That's how food combining works. That's how I try to kind of arrange all my food while I'm eating. You kind of eat the lightest things to the heaviest things. So we always start with the lemon water. Even if you don't feel like it, just make it before you can even think about whether or not you feel like it. That's what I do. And then we go to the next one, which is the green smoothie. So for those of you that don't know what the difference is between acidic and alkaline, maybe it's something you've heard of, but you don't really know why. Alkaline is what we always want our body to be in a state of. So when things are acidic, this is what is associated with inflammation, a lot of disease states forming. Acidic foods are things like dairy, things like animal protein, a lot of the junk that we eat in the morning and we don't realize isn't that healthy. For example, if you walk out your door and you grab a black coffee and a bagel with cream cheese, I mean, all of that is a disaster first thing in the morning. The coffee is acidic, the dairy from the cream cheese is acidic. So you're just giving your body like a good landing ground for more diseases to form. So we want to be alkaline. We want to make sure we're keeping everything healthy and we're preventing diseases from forming. So that's why this little itty bitty drink right here is so important, and why this green smoothie is so important in the morning. So the timing of when you eat things actually really does make a big difference. So we're adding in the apple. I like to add a stalk of celery. It's amazing for you. The more veggies, the better. You will not even notice it. You wouldn't know if I added it or not. So that's another trick that I like to do with green smoothies and juices, just throw things in where you wouldn't normally maybe like them or want to eat them, and you won't notice them in a smoothie. And lastly, I like to add turmeric. So turmeric you might not always see in its natural form like this. Be careful with turmeric because it is such a rich color. It's got this like yellow color. I've actually had it stain my white nails a few times, which is upsetting, but I just kind of peel the skin off. Now, since we're talking about acidity and inflammation, turmeric might be one of the most anti-inflammatory foods on the planet. It's so great for you. In fact, if there was one superfood that I would say you should all incorporate, it's turmeric. There's actually this patient, there was a study done who had just gotten stroke after stroke, and turmeric alone like actually saved it and put this patient into recovery. So stroke is just caused from a massive amount of inflammation. So as you can see, it's actually that powerful. It's medicinal. Food can be medicine. So you just chop it up like this. If you can see it, very similar to ginger, and you just pop it in there. And turmeric can be found at like most health food stores. Maybe if there's an international grocery store, I'm sure that maybe Amazon Fresh would deliver it. So the reason I like to use fresh turmeric instead of turmeric powder is because it's in its natural state. It's so much more potent. The more work you do and the more processing you do, the less active ingredient you're gonna have and the more potent that's actually gonna be. I mean, if you were to go find like really organic, raw, fresh, ground up turmeric, that's fine, but you don't really know where it's coming from. How long is it sitting on the shelf? Now, don't get me wrong. If I only have the option of like an organic turmeric at like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or any grocery store, 100% I'll use it, it's fine. But if I'm given the option of turmeric root, definitely go with that. I think a lot of people sometimes are intimidated by finding fresh turmeric root. What does it look like? How do I use it? Do I have to have a juicer? No, you can just literally slice it, throw it in your blender, and it's that easy. I am using a separate lemon for this. I know I had this lemon here. I like to use a full lemon. And the other thing with putting lemon juice in this smoothie, I would recommend juicing it in like a little bowl or cup first, because if you get the lemon seeds in this smoothie, it actually gives it a really bitter taste. So that's just a little tip for you. Squeeze it out in here. And the lemon's actually one of the most important parts of this smoothie. So now we've got half a lemon in our apple cider vinegar, warm water cayenne drink. We've got a full lemon in this smoothie. So you are just good to go with your alkaline foods. So already in the morning, with just these little things, you're doing so much good for your body, for your skin, preventing disease, everything. Recovery. Don't forget, inflammation is a huge part of muscle recovery. So if you're an athlete, if you work out, if you feel sore a lot after workouts, like this is something that's really gonna help. And of course, it always comes back to skin. If you get inflammatory acne, you get red breakouts, turmeric is a great thing. I also did that whole video on a turmeric face mask. All right, now we're gonna blend one more time. And then, I always like to take one of my biodegradable straws and take a little sip just to see if I want, maybe if it's not sweet enough or I put too much turmeric, I'll add like a little more banana or a little more lemon. Oh, that's so good. So refreshing. You guys are gonna love this smoothie. You have to try it. So that's my breakfast, so to say. I usually do like a breakfast number 1 and a breakfast number 2, I like to call it, because this will be like my pre-workout, just something to like get me going through the day. I either have half of it at once and the other half later, or I'll have half of it at once and then a separate breakfast later and maybe save it for the next day. I do save smoothies sometimes for like 2 to 3 days. As long as they're in an airtight container, it's completely fine. So that was my what I eat in a day morning edition. This showed you exactly what I have every morning. I never start my day without this drink and this smoothie. It just doesn't feel right if I don't. I feel cleaner, I feel more energized. I will say that after this smoothie and after I do my workout, I usually end up coming home and having a breakfast number 2. It will either be like an avocado toast. Sometimes I'll do my chocolate breakfast quinoa, which is just quinoa, coconut milk, and cacao. Might be a little extra that I have 2 breakfasts, but that's just how I do it. It follows food combining principles. It's kind of like my light meal for my workout and then my bigger meal later in the day. I know a lot of you ask me, how can this smoothie fill you up for the whole day? So that's your answer. It does not fill me up for the whole day. It's not my only breakfast. It's just my breakfast number one. Kind of realizing these videos are gonna be way too long. So instead of making this what I eat in a day, like an hour-long video, which I don't think anyone wants to watch, I decided I'm gonna split it up into 3 parts. So you guys just watch the breakfast part. Now I'm gonna do a separate video on snacks that I pack with me, lunch, and then after that, I'll do a separate one on like a dinner that I usually make at home. If you guys have any questions on the breakfast video, leave it in the comments below this video. Also, if you guys wanna know a list of my favorite, really uncommon, interesting foods that help satisfy cravings, so these are like little foods and snacks that will help you satisfy a cereal craving, a dessert craving, a chocolate craving, go to the link in the description. It's gethotandhealthy.com, and I've got a free video there to show you some of my little tips and tricks that I do when I'm craving something bad. So let me know if you like this video, and I'll see you guys for the next one on what I eat in a day, snack edition.